Hello again, my friends. Pastor Mark here from the Community Church in Glen Rock. This is number 7 of our Fireplace Stories. Next week, we are starting the season of Lent. Now, what's Lent? Lent is 40 days if you don't count Sundays that lead up to Holy Week and the resurrection of Jesus. Some people call it Easter. I prefer to call it resurrection. But anyway, this story comes just before the season of Lent. It's called Transfiguration. That's a big word, but I know you know about the Transformers, right? You morph into something else. Well, Jesus in this story transforms into something even greater. Jesus took 3 disciples. Remember, there's 12 of them. Takes 3 with him, Peter, James, John, goes to a really high mountain. Now, the question has been for a lot of people, well, how great is Jesus? We've talked about this before. Is he just a great teacher? Is he just a good prophet? Is he Son of God? How high up is he in this spirit journey? Well, if you know Jewish people, you all know that every Passover they set a place for a prophet Elijah, because it's believed that Elijah will return before Messiah comes. And if you know Jewish people, you know how illustrious Moses is. He's the man who got the law of God from God himself and brought it down Mount Sinai. Moses and Elijah are kind of the big 2 people in Judaism. Well, in this story, Jesus went on a high mountain, and there suddenly he like glowed. He got so bright, the 3 disciples there, they're shielding their eyes. And all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, standing with Jesus is Moses and Elijah, those 2 big names in Judaism. And they were awestruck. Wow, this guy we've been following for 3 years. This guy who's shown us so many miracles. Wow, he's on par with Moses and Elijah. That's how important he is. And Jesus told them to keep that memory in their head. Don't tell people. Keep that quiet, but keep it in their head. He knew in the weeks to come, they would need to remember who Jesus really was, because Jesus was going to go through a lot of trash, and they, as his disciples, would be also. And in the hard times, it's good to remember exactly who Jesus is. He's the boss. He's the guy we must obey if we're to be in heaven. He's the guy who's on par with Moses and Elijah. If you are Star Wars fans, you know Yoda is the guy. He's powerful. He's wise. Well, this is like saying Jesus is as mighty and wise as even Yoda. And sometimes the disciples kind of got that, and sometimes they didn't. But in the hard times, it's important to remember that. When we're disciples, life isn't always easy to obey. Remember just who Jesus is, and that helps us obey. I got to stand on that same mountain where Jesus transformed and transfigured. It's called Transfiguration Mountain, and it's in Israel. If you'd like, I'll show you what it looks like. And my picture's in it too. That is the mountain where Jesus was. See down here? That is the Sea of Galilee. I have to give a shout out to Pam, who took that picture for me. That's how high up Jesus and those three disciples were. That's how high up Jesus was when he met face to face with Moses and Elijah. And the disciples figured out just how great Jesus was. We have to remember that because life as a disciple of Jesus isn't always easy. It can be very difficult. Let's remember just who Jesus is. Let's remember just how great he is. And that will keep us going in the most difficult of times. You remember what I always tell you, too. Prayer changes everything through Bible reading, through prayer. Asking God to overwhelm us with the Holy Spirit. That gives us spiritual gifts, too. When times are tough, remember who Jesus is. Remember, we belong to Jesus. Remember, it's he that we must obey, and he will give us the spirit we need to get through the tough times. Well, my friends, this is number 7. We're wrapping up this series of children's Bible stories. Next week, we're going to start a whole new series on Lent and conversations that Jesus had with other people. I hope you'll join us for that. And I hope you'll like, share, and comment on this Bible story. Tell your friends, tell your parents. I'd like more people to come to know Jesus and know the peace that only he can give. Thank you for listening. Please, if you remember nothing else, remember prayer changes everything. God bless you, my friends.